Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. If you're the kind of person who loves finding profound meaning in, well, the everyday stuff around us in the natural world, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're unpacking a truly beautiful, deeply contemplative piece of writing by an author named Galeno. It's a quick read, but man is it dense. He takes this simple physical journey of water and compares it directly to the human experience. We're going to break down this metaphor step by step, looking at how something as basic as water flowing over rocks can actually reveal these massive truths about resilience, facing obstacles, and ultimately where we're all headed. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive right into this with the opening line of the text. Galeno starts off by setting up water as not just a physical thing, but as a silent instructor. He writes that water teaches us through its, quote, apparent silence. Even when it's just sitting there, inert and totally clean, it is literally the essence of life for us. And really, that's our foundational concept for today. Water doesn't have to shout to teach us something, right? Its mere existence, its quiet, constant presence, forms the absolute baseline for everything we're about to explore. Section 1. The nature of water. So, when we picture water in this pure, completely still state, we run into this really fascinating philosophical paradox straight from the text. Now, we usually think of balance as the ultimate life goal, don't we? Like we're all striving for perfect equilibrium. But Galeno points out that if water were in a state of permanent, absolute balance, it would literally never go anywhere. Its natural destiny is to seek the sea. But to actually get there, a permanent equilibrium would just, well, completely stop it in its tracks. To move forward, the water absolutely has to face what the author calls accidents, stones, and falls. Without those interruptions, without that friction, there is zero progress. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Perfect balance is actually just stagnation.
Moving on to Section 2, the silence of still waters. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the direct side-by-side contrast the author creates. Over on the left, we've got water on an almost completely flat surface. Think of a perfectly tranquil lake or a super lazy stream. The author notes that this creates absolute silence. The water essentially turns into a mirror, right? It just peacefully reflects its surroundings and lets everything else manifest. But look over on the right. The second that water is subjected to a fall, even a tiny one, it makes that typical rushing noise. It stops being this quiet reflector and instantly shows incredible vigor and life. Both states are perfectly natural, but they serve totally different purposes on the journey. Which brings us to Section 3, stones, falls, and vigor. And this is where we hit the most dynamic part of the water's path, the moments where it forcefully crashes against the landscape. Galeno breaks down the sounds of falling waters so brilliantly here. When it's just small drops falling, he describes the noise as affectionate or tender. But when you have water rushing over massive falls, that roar can genuinely be scary. It's intimidating. But here is the absolute most crucial detail, the third point. When water collides with the stones in its path, it doesn't just make random noise. It creates a rhythmic song. It's this vital rhythm that comforts us and shows off pure, raw energy. The stones don't break the water, you guys. They actually give it a voice. And here is where we bridge the gap. The author takes this physical observation of the water's song and explicitly connects it right back to us, to the human experience. Because of what happens when water hits rocks, the text argues that facing our own difficulties and obstacles is actually a profoundly healthy thing. It teaches us to sing our own song, and that song, that is the ultimate sign of life. Just like the water, smashing into our personal obstacles is what builds our resilience. That friction from the stones is exactly what creates our unique, personal rhythm in the world. Let's look at Section 4, the true meaning of faith. Let's move to this next part and see how this builds, because having established this gorgeous metaphor of water singing against the stones, Galeno applies it to a very specific human concept, faith. Let's look at how this translates into a real, actionable framework. He prescribes a super clear method for navigating life's turbulent journey, acting just like the water. Step 1, face the path with faith. Step 2, let yourself go confidently. He literally says we should throw ourselves into it just like water does, with zero hesitation. And step 3, simply follow the path. It's all about fluidly accepting the actual topography of your life, right? Moving forward with confidence instead of rigidly fighting against the inevitable drops. So the crucial point is how the author distinctly defines this concept of faith, and it's a really empowering, highly active view. He makes it clear that this is not some selfish, passive faith where you just sit back expecting God to grant all your wishes and magically sweep all the stones out of your way. Not at all. Instead, it's the active belief that you already possess the inner strength to handle whatever you need to do, paired with the trust that you have divine companionship right beside you during those really tough moments. It's his beautiful partnership of inner resilience and spiritual support.
To really reinforce this, the text categorizes the specific types of hardships we're all inevitably going to face using that active faith. First, we have our stones, those set-in, hard, physical obstacles blocking the way. Then, we have our falls, the scary drops, the sudden changes in elevation and momentum where you feel like you're losing control. And then, I love this one, he adds a third, a breath of wind in the doldrums of life. That refers to those stagnant, painfully slow periods where you just feel like absolutely nothing is moving. Galeno emphasizes that whether you're slamming into rocks, tumbling down a massive waterfall, or just stuck in the totally stagnant doldrums, literally none of these accidents are a valid reason to give up.
Which brings us to our final chapter, Section 5, The Horizon and the Sea.
So, we've talked about the starting point, the still waters, the turbulent falls, and the stones. Now we've got to look to the ultimate destination, where all of this flowing water is inevitably heading. And this brilliantly illustrates the real personal peace the author has found through this exact philosophy. In his actual sign-off for the piece, written in Passos, Minas Gerais and dated Saturday, June 6, 2026, he gives us a little update on his own chronological journey. He writes that he's continuing on, currently facing few stones and falls, moving gently. But look at that final phrase there. He is already joyfully anticipating the expected sea. I mean, wow. He has weathered the loud falls, he has sung his song against the stones, and now he's just smoothly approaching that final horizon, looking forward to the great, vast sea that awaits all rivers.
It is just a beautifully structured reflection, isn't it? It takes the daily frictions of life and completely transforms them from these terrible burdens into the very instruments that literally give us our voice. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a direct question based on Galeno's metaphor to just sort of chew on today. Which stones are teaching you to sing today? Remember, permanent balance is just stagnation. It's the obstacles, the accidents, and the falls that actually give your life its unique, vital rhythm. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this wonderful text today. Keep moving forward, keep confidently navigating those falls, and I will see you in our next explainer.